There was so much going on in this episode, from roller coasters, rocks being thrown in. It ended in a way that none of us could have predicted. Let's stay tuned to see what we have in store.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Wu-Tang, Wu-Tang, Wu-Tang. What's going on, y'all? It's your boy. You might have seen me on The Shy, The Act, and now I'm here to cover all things Wu-Tang. It's Chef Beans coming through with the mental cuisine. And to my left, you might have seen her on the after show for The Shy or Harlots. When they see us and now we see her, we have Miss Kitty Kaboom. Miss Kitty.
Real quick, I have my own show called Disenchanted. Sunday nights, it rocks. Check me out. Just saying.
Whoop, whoop. Disenchanted. Make sure you don't miss that chanted. I'm being silly today. And to her left, you might have seen her on the after show for Black Lightning, and now she's here to strike this channel.
Right. No, speaking of Black Lightning, it comes back early October.
Yeah, early October. Perfect. So, yeah. We have Miss Zuri. Woo!
Yeah.
Hello,
hey,
Zuri.
guys.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? Like I said, it was a very heavy episode. But today we're going to talk about taking chances, forgiveness, and impossible. So let's jump right into it. What are your overall thoughts? Let's start with you, Kitty.
Honestly, I went into it thinking, okay, what are we going to talk about? Let's make sure this was hands down for me the best show of the season so far. Not just because of the dynamics of all the craziness, but just how well it was done. I think it was really put together well. And there was a lot of... It started this way, but it flipped it on its head. So a lot of surprises and stuff. I loved it.
This was a heavy episode for me. I am a super scary cat. I won't be participating in Halloween. And
Right.
so like all the killing and the music and watching the pigeons. I don't know if you guys noticed the pigeons.
Yeah, pigeons were very creepy.
I wanted to like look it up, like what do pigeons mean? But I was like, I know what doves mean, and we all frown at pigeons, so I feel like it's nothing good. So I was like, I'm gonna just leave that.
Right.
Leave that where it is. But yeah, this was a good episode. The cinematography, I'm always gonna look at that.
Yes. The shots were great.
The shots were great. The writing was great. The acting was great. But it was heavy.
Now, it definitely was a very heavy episode. I just watched it not too long ago, and that's why I'm trying to keep myself with this angelic, jovial spirit. But to see people fall to the hands of the different systems that already oppress us, even though we see it on an everyday basis on TV, to see it on the show, especially in a very unexpected way, did make my whole energy go down.
Kind of plummeted.
I'm not gonna lie, it definitely plummeted, but we're gonna just jump right into it. So the first topic, we're going to talk about taking chances. And as we see, this episode started with Papa Jerome in the house. You know, he's here to basically make his way back into the household. He's trying to take a chance. How do y'all feel as though taking chances really stood out in this episode? Let's start with you, Kitty.
Well, there were a lot of chances being taken, that's for sure. Jerome shows up, and obviously he's taking a chance on the opportunity to be back in his family, get in the good graces of not just his baby mama. I don't know if she's an ex-wife just yet. And the children that he did not father.
Right.
But also he's taking a chance on what he claims is an investment in his future, and thereby making an investment for his family if he's
Right.
able to recoup that family to come with him. So that was pretty dope. No, seriously. Like,
No, I'm laughing because when I first heard him,
Yeah.
we've all heard people sell stuff
Right,
like,
right.
well, you know, I got this job interview lined up, so that's why I'm laughing. But we see
I was looking
Yeah,
at
he's-
not again.
Right.
She's been
That's
through this
so-
already.
That's so funny. I love that you guys think like that. Like, I need more of that in my life. I'm the person that's just trying to be the perpetual optimist. So I'm just like, why doesn't she believe him?
Right.
He's telling the truth.
But
He's
in me,
buying
I'm
land.
like-
Right. Well, I need to have more of that in my life to balance things out. But I did appreciate the fact that he came. It appears that he's coming correct. It appears that he's making a real effort, a genuine effort. So I like that. Obviously, I didn't like the chances that Divine is taking. But he's a knucklehead. I'm over
Right.
him. I'm so over Divine. He's stupid.
He's losing my interest as well.
Exactly.
Like every time he comes on the camera, it's just
It's
kind
just
of like,
Here we go to this idiot. Right.
Right.
And I mean, just chances. There was so many. Right.
Yeah.
RZA, Bobby talking to the white girl, and then that I already knew how that was about to end.
Right.
I didn't know how it was going to end. I didn't see that coming, but I definitely saw him punching dude in the face. I was like, oh, you done messed with the wrong one.
Right.
He always ready to fight.
Yeah.
Especially with Dennis, you know what I mean?
Dennis for that
ready.
he
Right.
about to dig right up in your butt.
Right.
So
Fast.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just saw a lot of chances take place, and so good choice.
What do you think, Zuri?
On a lighter note, my favorite chance that was taken, we got to see
Bobby D. RZA.
No, the other one, the hardest one that's not refuses to rap.
Oh, that's my boy.
Raekwon.
Raekwon. We got to see him rap.
Right.
He finally, and
Yeah,
we
he
saw,
did take a chance.
Yeah, we saw him like fighting with that, and then it wasn't until Method Man basically called him out and like kind of counted him out, and like that's like the worst thing you can do, right? To someone who's putting their life on the line for their paper is to count them out. Like you don't even belong here. So that was my favorite chance this episode,
Yeah.
and it was nice to see that. It's sad that it was short lived, but I'm happy that we got to see him rap.
I like both topics that y'all brought up as far as like the father taking a chance and Raekwon. A chance that I like, which we spoke about briefly, was Bobby D taking a chance, going to the white side of Long Island to try to sell and get what they got to get to make sure the mom has the money for the mafia. Because in the documentary, they spoke about how around that time, Long Island is already a pretty segregated borough, if you want to call it, if it's one of the boroughs. I'm not even sure they count it.
It's a borough.
But they went to the side with the burgers, which is called whites, and you can tell they're trying to bring the product to them, being that the white boys was traveling to where they stay at. But that chance that they took ended up in a very physically abusive way and emotionally, because I know at heart we would want to think that the cops have our best interest, but as Bobby D is sitting there bloody head on the floor, the cops saw them and drove right by. You know what I mean? So
I just wasn't even surprised.
Kitty, you got something you gotta say.
I'm just saying, like, I wasn't the least bit surprised. It didn't take me aback. You know what I mean? I don't look at the cops as my protectors by any stretch. And I hate that I feel that way. I really do. But especially with the events of the last few years, with literally waking up every single day and a new black boy has been killed. I mean, I'm a mother of a black boy. I can't really feed into that nonsense. And it is nonsense, let's be clear. But at the same time, if I was raped today, God forbid, or robbed or whatever, a crime was committed against me, these are the people that I would have to call on. So it's very weird dichotomy or double-edged swords or however you decide to look at it, that I need these people to protect me, yet they keep showing up as anything but. They're not protectors. They don't have our best interest at heart. They're clearly biased and racist, and they protect their own. So even when these men, you know, their wives come to them, how are they going to report being beat up by their husbands when they're a part of the secret society that is blue? You know what I mean? They basically laugh them out, like, you be all right, go get some counseling. It is troubling. So I wasn't surprised at seeing that. It kind of, I mean, of course it made my heart drop, but I wasn't like looking at it like, I can't believe I ain't clutched my pearls, because that's what they do.
I literally was like, next scene.
You know, right. Moving on.
It was clear that the police was going to keep driving. He didn't even like hesitate, and that's something I guess I would have liked to see, like a hesitation and then drive off, because then I think it even drives the point home even further that, like, this is my job, but that's not what we do. Like, we do let little black boys lie on the ground bloody and wait for their death.
Because had he hesitated, that might have shown that there was some heart there. There was something that drove him to say, I'm a human being, and seeing another human being suffering, I want to aid that, especially since this is what I've sworn to do. But that doesn't, I mean, it just keeps showing us time and time again, they don't have that heart, and it's unfortunate, but it's real. And
they ended up getting robbed too, so Bobby D had less money to give to his mom. But
can we talk about that? I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Tell me if I'm digressing. He handed over that money to the mom. That was not that wad that Bobby D gave him, right? Did he take some money?
No, but when they got beat up, the boys, the white boys took the money.
They took the money from Dennis, right? They didn't take.
I feel like they took both of their money.
Did they?
Yeah.
Okay.
They did.
But when he handed that money over to Dennis and was like, give this to my mom's. Maybe I'm tripping. Maybe it's continuity with the picture, with the movie, but it seemed like it was a fatter wad than what he handed over. And then when she was like, this is it, and his face just kind of reflected like, that's it. That's all I have. I feel like he snatched some money.
Oh, no.
I feel like he did.
No, it was definitely, it was, to me, it was definitely accurate. Like, yeah, it was pretty accurate.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hope so.
But I bring that up because the mother also had to take a chance as far as going to place a bet. Like, hopefully this money triples, quadruples, or whatever, because I don't have anything left to give, and they're serious about me paying back what my sister stole. So I think everyone was just taking chances this whole episode, and we saw how it was either positive for them or negative on a lot of different scales. But to speak more positive, I think Zori got some positive things to say about us at this network.
Hey guys, I just want to say thank you for making us the ESPN of TV Talk. We're so grateful to have you guys here and watch us every Wednesday. Make sure you give us a 5-star ratings on iTunes and a thumbs up here on YouTube. Also leave us comments. Like Kitty said, she's on a new show and she's actually by herself. So you want to make sure that you support her. Of course, Chef Beans always has a lot of things going on. If you don't follow him on Instagram, you should get on it because he is vibrant and it's pretty entertaining. Me as well. I'm starting a new show. So overall, AfterBuzz has done so much for us, and we're grateful for the opportunity. So be sure to follow us and keep in touch.
That girl is woke.
Yay! That thing woke, baby. I love it.
Are they talking? Anybody in the chat? What they talking
I'm so
about?
sorry, y'all. I didn't mean to ignore you. Okay, so Levi Ben Yuda, love that name. I love the chance was with Sherry taking a shot with Dennis.
Right.
Yes, thank you. Very good point. Another chance we take. I knew we're going to cover that, I'm sure, but I do appreciate that. Eric Garner was killed. Staten Island 2. Peep the connection. Love it. Meth had a friend named 2 Cent or Case. I believe that was murdered by the police. True story. Salute to the panel. Salute to you, King David.
Salute,
and
King
to
David.
Levi Ben Yuda. You the man. Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate that, and we have a lot of things to talk about from taking chances. But now we're going to transition into forgiveness. So let's talk about how forgiveness played a lot of different.
Can I ask a question? How did y'all feel about? I'm sorry, I don't mean to digress, but how did y'all feel about the mom taking a chance with the lottery? I was so disappointed in her. You have money in your hand and you're going to gamble it for more money? Where they do that at? Right. Like, the simple math is 2 and 2. You about to make 2 plus maybe 5, maybe equal 9 minus 2. Why?
Right.
Just pay the man what you owe him so you can keep your job, keep your peace of mind. Unfortunately, once again, black folks got to just hang their head and keep marching on. But
that was an attempt for her too. Because I don't know if she had enough. I agree. But I don't think she had enough. So I feel like at that point,
but now she
was it
zero.
Irresponsible?
Yes, because now you have zero.
No, it was very irresponsible. But I'm not surprised. And I know you said like sometimes we just try to. We keep going to buy the scratch offs, even though we know that same $5 or $10 we spent every day going to the store, we could have put that down on an investment or something. So I think also what I'm learning is mothers are still very much so human. Yeah, so we put them up on the pedestal. So no, you're supposed to always do this with this in mind. But I think the empath inside of me is just kind of like, I mean, I'm not surprised that she did that.
I think it's a testament on faith because she took a leap, and though she looked like she was falling because she didn't have the money, and a net appeared right under her.
How about that?
So
that's his name, right? Jerome?
Yeah, so
Romy Rome said,
"Romy down."
You thought so? Let's talk about that because she made that decision, which we all can feel a way about. But I forgive her, and we're going to transition to the next topic, which is forgiveness. So let's talk about how she's using this same opportunity as Jerome stepping up to forgive him. Because clearly he's been, Rolling Stone or a father who pop in, pop out like the seasons, and she's giving this dude the opportunity to get back into her son's life. What do you think, Zuri?
Trash. No, don't let him in. Because I feel like as soon as that happens, he can now hang it over.
No, go.
I didn't expect that.
He can now hang it over her head, and he seems like that type, especially the way that he was talking to Cherie. And even when he saw her struggling with the assignment, okay, he didn't have any intention on taking him to school. Fine, but she's at least struggling. Be a gentleman, help her.
Her.
So I feel like this is his his time that he like stole that little moment, like swiper, no swiping. He caught her slipping, and he's just gonna hold it over her head for the next time he needs something.
Yeah.
And I feel like it might be a place to live.
You always right, so I don't know. I'm kind of like,
I'm sad. I'm making these sad faces because I don't want to believe that. Like I'm trying to be.
Where is the ex-con living?
The perpetual optimist in me says, no, he's changed. He's better.
I mean, I would love the writers, like something that we don't see is a male figure come into the house and add. Like,
right.
If they're gonna go to like wow us, I would love to be wrong.
Well, it's based on a true story.
But that's what I'm saying. Is that reality?
Is that what happened?
They've said that this is not all true.
Okay, so he could have been a good
so
guy.
I hope, you know, like please make me wrong, writers, and make him add to this family.
But I do appreciate the fact that, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Okay.
His speaking to Cherie, I keep wanting to call her Shuri, the way it's spelled. Cherie definitely speaks volumes to who he is as a human being. Like he's all with the smooth talking when he's around the wife.
He took him out of school without asking his mom.
Yeah, now I get taking him out of school because you haven't seen him in a while, and one day is not going to kill him, and it's something that I probably would have said okay to my son's father. But I have to say okay. I'm gonna need you to come and consult with me. You don't run nothing.
That's what I'm saying.
You just got here, bruh. Like relax, and you don't even know what he has going on. Here she is struggling to hold your a project, and you ain't batted 2 eyes. Like that's not okay. She shouldn't have had to be responsible for that. But that's Cherie though, right? She's always picking up the pieces.
She's always picking up the pieces, just how she picked up the pieces with Dennis.
She did.
You know what I mean? We speaking about forgiveness. Dennis was clearly ignorant for the past weeks or months, however long it's been, and she saw him tiptoeing out her crib, said, yo, what's going on? Mm-hmm. Like, why have you been dodging me? But we know Dennis has a soft spot for her, so she cracked down that tough shell that he tried to hold up, and she forces him to be vulnerable again. So how do y'all feel as though that scene played out? How did you feel about it, Zuri?
I liked it. No hard feelings towards Dennis, and she did it pretty easily. Almost
that
like
was not easy.
Yeah, it
like,
wasn't.
She's like, what's up? I don't care. You not gonna tell me what I'm gonna do, right?
And it was easy. Yeah, I'm team Dennis and Cherie.
Yeah,
I hope it works out.
Okay.
Okay, so from experience, having been in relationships where the red flags were kind of slapping me, but my love of this person and my love of their potential outweighed that. And now on the other side of 20s wisdom, thank you. I can now see it's difficult. I mean, my heart breaks, but I can't coincide the two. I have to think with my head because my peace is necessary. So she's young and I get it. I love that she's so very mature. Yeah. She's like, listen, don't tell me what I need. If you still want me, I still want you, and these are the reasons why. Well, I don't even need to tell you why. I've shown you many times over that I'm here for you. Like, just be honest with me, talk to me. And he's not the, brightest bulb in the thing. So I get that he was a little like, you don't understand what I be going through. She's like, I'm your rock. I got you. I love it. I'm that's what I'm trying to say. The part of me is that I absolutely love that dynamic, and I'm team Cherie and Dennis as well. But the other wise part of me is think, girl, he ain't gonna do nothing but break your heart. You love to read, you love the arts and culture, and you see a bigger life for yourself. You know that you're not going to be here in Staten Island forever. You are on to bigger, and you're gorgeous. Like, you're articulate. She just has so much swag, and she don't even check for other guys. Like, she's not even tripping off of that. So the fact that she allowed you to be her boyfriend, I'm gonna need you to
it's like, a privilege, right?
It's a privilege. Respect her gangster. And he just show up like, I'm stupid because this not gonna work, and she's like, oh, it'll work, babe. Okay.
I feel like I saw the shell soften when his brother was like, Cherie fixed it in 2 minutes.
Yes.
I feel like I almost was nervous that he was gonna snap on him, but I also kind of saw he was like, that's not helpful. Like, it kind of like he had to like take a deep breath. I think not out of anger, but it's like, I know, and I
Cherie's
miss her,
the bomb.
but it's not,
right. No, Cherie is the bomb. I like how she stood up, but I also like how Divine's ex-girlfriend stood up as well when he was trying to bring the drugs in there. She was like, no, I don't forgive anything. Okay, you've made different mistakes, but why do you think I'm still going to tolerate this behavior? I told you exactly what it was, but Divine still tried to be smooth with it, and we see that didn't work out in his favor, him trying to wiggle his way into there.
Exactly. Thank goodness she shut that down. Real quick, these comments are awesome. Levi says, Cherie will be pregnant before the season is done.
Pray go.
Ooh.
Where did he get that info?
I don't appreciate that, Mr. Levi. No, She won't.
I'm not
and if you know
surprised.
something we don't know, shut up. And then Daquan says Cherie is Bobby Order sister. I think he meant older sisters and little sister in one character. RZA said it in an interview in the Breakfast Club. She kind of is. I mean, she literally is his little sister, but she's so his big sister. She's everybody's big sister. She take care of mama, so you know she take. And the fact that she even speaks to Dennis in any kind, I'm surprised she give him the time of day. But it warmed my heart that Dennis did engage her in a conversation.
Yeah.
And like, talk to me. What's really wrong?
Because when it comes to like, I've seen Dennis's character many times in a lot of different forms. The dude who's super hard when it comes to his friends in the streets, but when it comes to a woman, you're super vulnerable. You're a completely different person. So she sees, I feel like, somewhat of the most rawest form of him. Like, she knows that he's talented. She knows that his brothers have muscular dystrophy and how he's a caregiver, but he probably don't share that same information when he's in the street trying to do his thing. Even if he does, I'm pretty sure he's not super soft about it.
I was about to say,
but
if he says it,
him.
he probably says it more defensive. Like, look, my little brothers is, you know what I'm saying? They hurting.
Right. She's seen him completely broken. She's seen him completely broken down. So I'm not even surprised at how all of that transpired. But let's transition to the last topic, which is impossible. And I want to start this one off because, like I said, at the end of the episode, it really broke my heart. I'm gonna just say it really broke my heart because this episode took me on an emotional roller coaster to see the old lady getting frustrated at the dudes trying to express their art, but at the same time, they're being disrespectful to her. So it's this tug of war going on, and she's kind of forced to ask help, even though she doesn't really have much trust in the belief. Kind of like what you were saying. It's kind of like, this is just annoying at this point. Y'all throwing rocks in my crib. I kind of have to call these guys now.
Yeah.
But how it played out with Hayes losing his life because he made the cop feel this small. This topic is... And I feel like the episode was called Impossible because I feel like they're all under the microscope. We talked about the pigeon earlier, and when I read in the caption, it said like bird's eye view. And if you understand a bird's eye view, you can kind of see things up very close. And though they're trying to do all these different things to fix their situation, they're still under this pressure that they can't fight these systematic, like, chains that are shackled on their ankles. You know what I mean?
Because it is systematic.
Right.
It is most definitely systemic. It is most definitely ingrained, and it's been going on for generation after generation after generation up until right now. So the fact that it gets a little bit better and the needle moves just a little bit with the Ava DuVernays and the Oprah Winfreys and obviously the Barack Obamas, we still have a long way to go. And it saddens me so much that that it's an intergenerational fight. You know what I mean? It should be us against them. It shouldn't be anybody against anybody. I'm a pacifist. You're right. But I don't like the fact that this older woman had to even be subjected to that. Like, she's just trying to live her life. All she asked you to do is please walk away from my window. Rap all you want. It's not my thing, but I'd appreciate it if I could get some peace and quiet.
Right.
If she'd said it like that, obviously they wouldn't have been able to hear her. I was surprised they listened to her go on and on as long as they did.
I just was shocked that he threw the rock after. Like, I would have, he must have just thrown it in the middle of the speech because they all had this like profound look on their faces, and then boom, a rock.
Yeah,
exactly.
I thought they received it, but as we can see, they were still being malicious at the end of it. Kitty, I want to ask you this. Because at first, after I got done watching the episode, I wasn't sure why it was called Impossible. What does impossible mean to you in connected with this episode? Like, why do you think they titled it?
I'm not sure exactly why they titled it, but I'd like to think, I would have called it the possibility of, the impossibility of possible. Because we're faced, as we've just stated, with impossible odds. Like, every day. It's so amazing to me, people that are like ignorant of white privilege and stuff and how they spew all of this. It's not as bad as they make it, and you know, they shouldn't be that way, and it's fine. I mean, look, there was a black president, what they fighting about? Like, they have no clue, they have no gauge to even compare to, and we literally are living it every single day. So I would have named it The Impossibility of Possible because the possibilities are so far away. It's within our grasp in that we're moving towards it, but it's literally never within our reach. Like, it just feels like it's just...
The line keeps moving.
It keeps... Thank you. Yes, the line keeps moving. And this was just a perfect example of that. I just hate that, as I said, it was between us, where it should have been... You know what I mean? Like, why are you yelling and trying to physically harm this woman that speaks not only truth to you, but just asking for a little peace and quiet? Like, and then they look like the bad guys because they kind of are, but then it gets to upbringing, and it's not the parents' fault because they got to work, they're never home. It's a whole cycle, and it's super heavy sometimes. It really is. And it's hard being a Black person in
No,
this country.
Absolutely. So Zori, what do you think? Like, what does impossible mean to you? Why do you think they titled it Impossible? Like,
I think they titled it Impossible because since the beginning, pretty much almost every storyline we saw in this episode is something that we saw at least in episode 1 or 2, and we kind of knew where the stories were going, right? Like Divine with his drug situation, with his case, Mom dealing with just Mom, like someone having to save Mom, RZA just trying to make money and having to find different ways to make money. So I feel like everything in this episode we saw like formulating in episodes 1 and 2, and it seems like we still haven't got there. Like, it's just impossible. Like, these same situations that we were having with in episode 1 and 2 are still here. Like, we really, like, same with moving the finish line, we haven't gotten anywhere. Like, we've gone like windy twists and turns, but it seems like it's impossible to just make it to the destination. Even with finding a legitimate serious hustle, right? We saw them dealing the cocaine, didn't work. Dealing with Wall Street didn't work. Trying to deal weed at the burger joint, you get your head busted. Like, it's just impossible to find a solution to, well, some would see a minuscule thing. Like, you just need to find a group, make your money off this group. Can't even find the group. So it's just been impossible.
I really like how you broke that down between different characters, because even talking about Raekwon, even he was very, very much so macho, concealing his talent. The one chance that he does get, or opportunity that he takes to rap, the cops come. So it's kind of like, damn, like, I tried to shine my light a little bit. It's in me. I tried to shine it. And then boom, quickly it gets just taken over by this, I don't want to just say system, but it just kind of really breaks my heart that even this black on black violence, like, we clearly grew up in the same community, because that same officer was speaking to Mama Diggs earlier. And we know how that kind of turns out. Okay, like, we know you, we know where your family stay, we know everything. So because I have more control, I'm more connected to these dudes who are out here to the point where I'm telling them exactly what to do, they're doing it. It's making you feel this small.
Right.
It's making you feel this small to the point where you're going to physically take away my life. Like,
I wanted to ask you guys about that police officer. So I feel like even when he approached Mama Diggs, it was still kind of like, I feel like he's
condescending.
It was, and if I remember correctly, he stood in the middle of the sidewalk, and I feel like she was kind of going around. Like, so all of his interactions, I feel, are just kind of like, what's really happening here? And I feel at least sometimes when we do get that stereotypic, like, okay, black guy, the one who made it out and he looks down on everyone else, generally there's at least some kind of, like, I wouldn't even call it respect, but it's like human. Like, he treats everyone like they're beneath him. That's why I'm like, kind of like, what is his deal? Like, what do you guys think of him?
I think that I'm so mad, I can't remember his name. The shorty wop that got killed.
Hayes
said it best. And I found, this has been in my experience, most cops that, like, I went to junior high school with, that they got beat up, they got bullied, they were counted out, nobody liked them, they weren't necessarily popular. So this is their way to kind of have some, not retribution so much as, look at me now.
You
now
kind
what
of
do you have to
forced
say
to
about
respect
it?
me.
Exactly. I got a gun, I got a badge, I get to tell you what to do. Yeah, how you like, what did he keep saying? Yeah. Say something now.
But
now what do you say?
Hayes also said, he let us know that he's an ex-military guy.
That's right.
So I feel
like
brought that up
as
kind
well.
of a, like,
I feel like he should have been able to get out of that chokehold because of that, though, right?
Something.
Nah, I knew it was a rap, and it kind of brought me back to, like, Do the Right Thing when Radio Raheem got killed. That's the instant trigger that I got, because he was way taller than Hayes. He was lifting him up off the ground, and he just, you can see the rage in his eyes. I knew he wasn't going to let go.
It's all insecurity, though. It all comes from fear. All anger, all rage is literally fear in and of itself. So the fear that he's exhibiting made him kill another human being, his brother at that, simply because his ego would not allow him to just walk away or to dismiss with his words.
Or just handcuff him and put him in jail.
Right, do something, but not kill him, right?
Yeah.
There's one line right here that I thought was really dope. Dang it, it's gone. Oh, there's a Wu-Tang song called Impossible. Listen to it and it all makes sense, Levi says. So that's good to know.
Okay, thanks, Levi.
Thanks, Levi. Good looking out.
We appreciate that. And I also want to bring up, because we were speaking about Bird's Eye View, another character was introduced, maybe two, but I know definitely Inspector Deck.
Yeah.
So Inspector Deck, I remember watching in the documentary, they said where he lived at, he can kind of see everything, like in Long Island, from boroughs, from the Stapleton to Killer Hill, everything like that. And even Bobby D brought it up, like, you kind of look like the inspector.
I knew it.
I was like, okay.
As soon as he said it, I said it out loud. I was like, that's Inspector Deck.
Right.
Yeah.
And what is this dude named? The dude who was rapping outside, who was being very disrespectful to the old lady. That is someone as well.
Is it?
I can't
You
think
got?
of not you God. But yeah, I'm drawing a blank. But I know I'm drawing a blank. But I feel like that's someone as well too, because I was watching the credits. And what is this? I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank. I can't
It's
think
all
of it.
good. Yeah, definitely.
But everyone's coming together, and you can just see on everyone's face when they saw Hayes died that they're kind of like, something's got to give, because we all felt this.
Yeah, just like Jason. Nobody expected that killing, and that was horrific and unnecessary. So was this. It's just like one after the other. The circumstances are different, but the outcome is the same. Another black man has left this earth, and he way too soon, and under horrible circumstances. Yeah, it's a heavy weight to bear. This, again, I really enjoyed this show for that reason. The fact that they got into it. You know what I mean? I feel like every show up until now has kind of led us to this place. And so I'm really like happy about the way that the writers and the producers are creating a narrative that gets deeper before it it's definitely taking us through.
Yeah, it's letting you know, because Wu-Tang, these members are some of the most highly revered people in music history.
Exactly.
So to let you know the struggles that they went through and try to emulate a piece or a fraction of what was accurate in their actual childhoods, because we know this is like not necessarily fully fictional, but they did exaggerate or maybe not put in everything. But this is just a prime example or a reflection of what we face growing up in the inner city and the different things that we face on an everyday basis, whether we're dealing with things outside of our house or inside of our house. Then we got our parents, which we know that's how we learn how to love, whether it's through dysfunction or whatever. We learn from the people who we look up to.
Exactly.
So it's just...
It's a lot. King David said Master Killer.
It might be Master Killer, but I'm talking about the actor. Yes, it might be Master Killer, but I'm thinking about his name in actual life, because it's a rapper that everybody was saying, oh, this person is going to be in Wu-Tang too. I just can't, like how
Master Killer, that's not his name?
No, Master Killer would be the Wu-Tang member, but just how Dave East is
you're saying his actual real name.
I can't think of his real name.
Gotcha,
that's what I was saying.
Yeah, but it's good to, I didn't think of Master Killer for sure. I just was thinking Inspector Deck. Who else is left out? You God hasn't arrived yet.
And Capadonna.
That's the last one, right?
Yeah, just those two. So I mean, overall thoughts of this episode, it was heavy, but it was necessary, because like you said, Method Man's best friend did actually die back in the day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So just to lighten things up a little bit, let's transition into news and gossip.
Well,
She's like, okay,
music. So speaking of Inspector Deck, he's on my news and gossip. If you don't know, here it is. He is Joey Badass. Well, Joey Badass is playing Inspector Deck.
That's what I was. Joey Badass. That's what I've been trying to say this whole day. Joey Badass.
Yes. So Joey Badass is doing really good right now. He was just in New York Fashion Week. This is his third big movie. He actually is in something that's coming out. Oh, The Robot on USA Network. It's a season premieres in October. So he's really working, and they did a good job. And I was watching a Breakfast Club interview with Angie Martinez with Joey Badass and RZA, and they're actually friends.
Oh, nice.
And RZA is his mentor. They talk on a regular basis.
Nice.
And for Joey to get this role, they were at a Christmas party. And RZA asked Inspector Deck, what do you think of him playing you? Because he already had the green light on the show. And he was like, I think that he would do a good job, based on skin complexion, stature, facial structure. Joey said that he did have to go through the whole process of casting and auditioning. So yeah, and then he said that he basically just really looked up a lot of videos on him to see how can I emulate him. But in my research of Inspector Deck, he's kind of not a forgotten member, but he's a background kind of guy. So Joey was I couldn't find a whole lot of things on him, but he said he always rapped with his left shoulder, right shoulder. So that was something that I found really interesting.
It is interesting. Dope. That is dope.
That's very dope. Well, thank you for that news and gossip. Yeah. And I think it's special segment time, which is titled not Who Is Who, maybe Who is Wu? Kitty, take us away.
All right. So this segment, Who is Wu, I'm dedicating to the O, the D, and the B, bitch. ODB was a prolific member, as we all know, because he stood out. He was just kind of wild style. He had a crazy style about himself. And this specifically speaks to mental illness, though, because he was diagnosed with schizophrenia later in life. And a lot of times he didn't get the kind of support or even what he needed to kind of manage or maneuver that lifestyle. This hits really close to home. I got diagnosed with depression when I was like 13. So it is a struggle just to get out of bed sometimes and make it work. So I can't imagine what schizophrenia is like. It literally takes over your brain. You hear voices, all kinds of difficult, challenging side effects. So I just thought it was dope that this one particular person that has worked, a producer, has worked. Her name is, I'm sorry, y'all. Sophia Chang. She's very instrumental, not just in hip hop, but she's a television producer. So she does a lot of things in the business, and she brings in mental illness as a topic of discussion. So with this, she said, RZA had given a eulogy at ODB's funeral, and in it he said, RZA got up the funeral and he stood in front of hundreds of people and said, "When I think about Ason," because that's what we called him, Ason Unique, "I will take part of the blame because Dirty said to me, 'Yo, I'm dying,' and I didn't pay attention. I just kind of thought, oh, that's just Dirty. He's just saying that." And probably a number of people feel that way. So she is examining this and allowing us to have a conversation, creating a platform for us to be able to have open discussion, especially once again in the Black community. We quick to be like, "Child, just go to church. You ain't depressed. You fine.
Drink some ginger ale."
Exactly. You're going to be all right. Pour some Robitussin in it.
Sleep that off.
Right. We don't really give the attention it deserves and help people with this sort of thing. So I think it's a sad state of affair. We celebrate him because he was so quirky and off the wall and his rhyme style was so crazy. But at the same time, we have to bring light to things of this stature so that it doesn't continue. You don't want to ignore people's cries for help. Oftentimes that unfortunately leads to suicide. So you want to know that there are demons within you. Talk to me or talk to somebody and get that out. And I really, I salute Sophia Chang for bringing it once again to the attention of hundreds of thousands of people, and hopefully the dialogue will continue and, people will get the help that they deserve.
Thanks, Kitty. I really appreciate that. Yeah, because mental health is becoming a more common topic, but definitely still something we need to take more and more serious when people are crying out for help.
Especially when people like a Kanye West being diagnosed with bipolar says what? That's his superpower. Right. I love that he's embraced it in such I don't know if that brother don't take his meds or do take his meds. Obviously, I don't know him. It's not my place. But I will say that I do love that he flips it on his head, right? I'm not about to see this as a detrimental thing, but more as a love for myself and a celebration of what I can do since I have this thing.
Yeah, absolutely. You rocked that out. Thanks, Kitty.
Thank you.
Ow. We all rocked it. Boom, 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 boom. We all rocked it out. But now it's time to go. But we'll sing just one more song. So
not today.
Thanks for having us today. Kitty, where can they find you at?
I am on IG at Kitty Kaboom, KITTIEKABOOM, Kitty Kali on Facebook, and Kitty Meow on Twitter.
Dun, dun, dun. I am Zuri Shalise. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at Zuri Shalise, ZURICHELLECE.
Okay. Nice. And you can find me at chef_beans with a Z on all social media platforms. Thanks for coming out, y'all. We'll see you next week.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.